I've always been fascinated by the era between the wars. Such a short time, and yet so much was happening. Women gained the vote, went out to work in increasing numbers, and had more say over their lives. Music and art were in a state of great flux as old norms died and new cultures came together. The old academies with their diktats were challenged. Breakaway groups founded their own movements, which gave increasing expression to youth, anti-war sentiment, and the unconscious mind. It was an exciting yet unstable period. The Wall Street crash and the Depression sent shockwaves through North America and Europe. Politics became polarized between the rising nationalisms and communism. Many of these extremes are being acted out today. Writing historical fiction is a safe, less charged way of grappling with such issues. I think part of the joy of being a fiction writer is that you can put yourself in books and you can disguise yourself so that this is not autobiographical, but at the same time there are aspects of me in the book. In some ways I can relate more readily to Derek because I paint, and some of his journey as an artist I can relate to, whereas Mo, she's a singer and I'm tone deaf. I can't sing. I love music, but I can't sing. On the other hand, Derek came from a more middle-class background. I came from a more, in many ways, low middle-class, working-class background. So her transition from working, my parents didn't have a pub in the East End, but I grew up on a council estate in Woking. So her transition to a different world, a different milieu, I can relate to. Although it's not my story, I can relate to the transition from one social background to another. So I would say there's a lot of me in the characters, and there's also an awful lot of invention. And another joy of writing, particularly historical fiction, is the amount of research that needs to be done, the amount that I have to go into the background, the setting, what the customs were. So yes and no is the answer. I'm in the story and I'm not in the story. I think when I read a novel, I'm always looking for a moral compass. And I think most readers are. I think one of the reasons why crime writing is so popular, because it is a fight between good and evil, if you like, and we like to unravel the mystery and find out who's done the terrible crime and hopefully see if that person gets punished. In a book about social circumstances and change, it's a little more difficult to disentangle. But I think it's there. I think when I'm writing, it's more below the surface. It's not something I would think of consciously. But I would like to think that there is a sense of my characters moving towards their better self, if you like. They're very flawed characters and they can be very selfish and self-indulgent. But I also like to think that they are moving towards a higher version of themselves where they can be more loving, more generous, more aware of what's going on in society. So if that is what comprises a moral compass, yes, they have a moral compass. And I do like to see growth in my characters. I don't like characters that are too goody-goody or too evil, too black and white. I like characters that are more like people as I see them. I think we're all very a mixture. I think I'm more likely to take paper and pen with me to write. I'm not sure I would actually want to be reading on a desert island. I'd probably more likely want to write what's happening around, what's going on in the island. But I suppose if I were issued with some books, I'd probably like to take some Russian, the Tolstoy, Dostoevsky. I'd like to take some of the 19th century British novelists, where Dickens, So books I could really get my teeth into. And who else? Yeah, I like the books of Doris Lessing. I'll probably take some of her books with me.